Part 9, Christabel. When Christabel offers cordial wine to Geraldine and tells her that it's made of virtual powers and her mother made it, Geraldine says, "And will your mother pity me, who am a maiden most forlorn?" Christabel answered, "Woe is me! She died the hour that I was born. I have heard the grey-haired friar tell how on her deathbed she did say that she should hear the castle bell strike 12 upon my wedding day. O mother dear, that thou wert here. I would," said Geraldine, "she were." And Geraldine immediately poses this question: will your mother pity me? Will your mother have any pity for her, who is a forlorn maiden? But then Christabel says that the mother died when she was born, the hour that she was born, and she has just heard the grey-haired friar say that um, she would rather like to hear the castle bell strike 12 on the wedding day, and she would be there. She would like to be there. But then Christabel says, "Oh mother, I wish thou wert here." Immediately Geraldine says, "She were." But she's frightened, she's afraid. And the moment she will take back her words. She'll say, "But soon with altered voice said she, Off wandering mother, peak and pine, I have power to bid thee flee. Alas, what ails poor Geraldine? Why stares she with unsettled eye? Can she the bodiless dead espy?" See, the ballad form is used so beautifully to describe everything. Every mystery has been brought out in detail. She immediately, for a second, she says, "I wish the mother were here." And then, as if there's someone actually before her, she says, "Off wandering mother, peak and pine. This is my hour. I can bid thee flee. flee." She asks the mother spirit to go away. Why is Geraldine so restless? And then there's this question: can she, the bodiless dead, espy? And why with hollow voice cries she, "Off, woman, off, this hour is mine. Though thou her guardian spirit be, off, woman, off, 'tis given to me." And she repeats as is repeated in the text. And why? With hollow voice, she makes a strange sort of voice sound and bids her flee and tells the woman to go off and says, "Though this hour is given to me, hence you make a move." Then Christabel knelt by the lady's side and raised to heaven her eyes so blue. "Alas," said she, "this ghastly ride, dear lady, it has wildered you." The lady wiped her moist cold brow and faintly said, "'Tis over now." Then Christabel again comes to her rescue. She kneels by her side, and as she looks up, her blue eyes are quite evident. Again, symbol of innocence, as I said earlier. She says that it's because of that ghastly ride. She is bewildered, she is still nervous, and the lady then wipes her brow and says that it's over now, and then she comes to term with herself. Again the wildflower wine she drank, her fair large eyes can glitter bright, and from the floor whereon she sank, the soft lady stood upright. She was most beautiful to see, like a lady of a far country. And then she drinks the wine which Christabel offered, and then you can see her eyes getting brighter. And as she was almost lying on the floor, she stood upright and she looked like a lady from a far country, a beautiful lady from a far country.